Hey everyone, welcome to the channel where we talk about all things movies. Welcome especially if you're new. If you love talking about movies and staying up to speed on what's in theaters and what's worth checking out, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my reviews when they post. Alright, with that, we're going to dive into today's review, which is for Minions: The Rise of Gru, which I just got back from seeing at the theater. So starting off with a synopsis, this movie is about the untold story of one 12-year-old's dream to become the world's greatest supervillain. So, kind of going into this film, I enjoyed the first Despicable Me, but the ones since then they've been fine enough. I think they're good like kids films, but they're as I get older, it becomes less and less my type of humor for just kind of the silliness that is shown there. I think the first one had a lot of heart to it, and so that's why it was still a good movie at the end of the day. But I certainly don't feel the need for any more of these Despicable movies. I mean that as a categorical term, as franchise, the Despicable franchise. Not saying that they're actually Despicable movies. So, but I mean, I haven't been the biggest fan lately, but you never know what you're gonna get with new movies in a franchise. So that's kind of where I was at going into this film. So let's talk about it. This is gonna be a non-spoiler discussion. And the things that I liked about the film, kind of going over my list here, I like the music. It's right up there with the rest of the series, so it's one that I'm gonna go and listen to. I think when I get the chance. That was one good aspect. I thought the opening of the film was interesting, especially since it didn't focus on the minions. Like that's the title of the film, and the first full scene is they're not to be found anywhere. So I thought that was an interesting take. Other aspects that I liked, it was great to see Gru again. I think he is kind of he's the for lack of a different word that is more different than the word Gru. He's the glue that kind of holds this franchise together. I think the first Minions movie worked fine enough, but when you saw him come in at the end, that was kind of the biggest point or the highlight of that film almost. And so I think he just steals the show, and he does so again in here. Although I kind of wanted to see a bit more of his villainy displayed. I know he's still just a kid in this film, and we get a fair amount in the first act, but I feel like as the movie went on and it tried to focus a bit more on story, I thought the story wasn't all that good and wasn't all that there, so I would have appreciated to see a bit more villainy. And yeah, the final act I thought was pretty lackluster. I think they try to go big, but I was pretty not interested in that part of the movie at that point. But other things, I thought the minions again were fine. I think for me, there's just so much of that dose I can take, and it was enough in the first film. So it just feels like more of the same at this point for the minion humor. And yeah, on that note, the humor was pretty hit or miss. I would say it was more miss for me. I did laugh a few times, certainly. Like there are funny moments, but a lot of the humor is just kind of silly humor, and it's not for me. I think it's great for kids. Like kids are gonna enjoy it a lot, but it's not really up my alley. I thought the antagonists as well were very one-dimensional. I think I could remember some of the names if I tried, but they're they're extremely one-dimensional characters. And even the antagonist, who like he's not really an antagonist, he's half he's some part of the time he's the antagonist, and then he changes, but that's not really a spoiler, I don't think. But even his character, while he had maybe a little bit of growth, it really wasn't all that much. So there just wasn't a whole lot of heart to this film, in my opinion. So it's hard to get connected to the characters and invested. And for me, I need that on some level for me to like enjoy a movie. So we get more of Stuart, Kevin, and Bob, who are the main three minions from the first Minions film, and then we get a new minion named Otto, who's like those four are the focus of this film for the Minions group, and then you have a bunch of like basically unnamed minions. And I don't know. I think I believe that people have a favorite of those. Like, oh, everyone, or like people like Kevin or they like Stuart, but like they don't have enough personality in my mind to have a favorite one, especially in this film. I think it did a better job in the first one, the first Minions, of kind of distinguishing them, but they all just kind of feel the same. And especially creating a new character in Otto, it felt more the same. Like, sure, there's slight distinguishing characteristics. Like, Otto really likes to talk, but they feel very much copy and paste. And yeah, I think a movie that's called Minions, it doesn't do enough to kind of focus on that. It was kind of split between being a movie about Gru and a movie being about the Minions, and you kind of got this foot in each camp that made it kind of. I think it would have been better if they had gone one way or the other. Like, I think this isn't quite as good as the first Minions movie, and I think it's not as good as like the first Despicable Me movie. I don't recall the other two Despicable Me movies enough to kind of compare them to that. They're probably about on that level. And then the last thing, I had kind of mixed feelings on some of the callbacks they do to other characters and things in the franchise. I thought some of the callbacks worked and others felt just kind of cheap. And it's like, oh, it's, okay, yep, I see the connection there. You brought that character back. So it was, there again, mixed feelings. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on the film. Overall, I'd give this a C, and that's just my take on it, or reflects my enjoyment of it. I didn't really enjoy the movie. Sure, I laughed a few times, but it still comes in as pretty meh overall. I do think it's one that kids would enjoy a lot. So if you're looking for a film for kids and to go to the movies with your family, then I think it like if I were a kid, I would like it a lot more, probably a B or maybe an A. So it's just at this point in my life, it's not my type of humor, but it certainly will do great for all the merchandising that comes out of this. That's why Universal keeps making these movies. So I think that will continue without losing a step at all. But overall, yeah, at this point, I think if the first movie was enough for me, and we haven't really been getting anything new out of this franchise. But you know what you're gonna get. It is a Minions film. I think it's about on the same level as the previous Minions film, even though I think the previous one was slightly better. But if you think you like Minions, I'd say go see the film. If not, it's nothing new. So with that, though, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you do have a favorite Minion, for me, they were kind of indistinguishable. But if you have a favorite and you can tell them apart, I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed this review, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews. Alright, with that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next review.